Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome inside The Lock Shop. Dusty and Hus back with you once again here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Of course, Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up in about an hour here as well. We'll have the oil stream in an hour as well. You can hit us up in the nasty chat, and you can text us 780-218-9999. Hus, I'm rattled right now because there was a neighbor's alarm was going off. Matt, you want to throw up the graphics that I did up for the site? So a neighbor's alarm was going off, and oh, yeah, I didn't do it today. That's right. I was busy because of this alarm. So a neighbor's alarm was going off, and all the boys could hear it. It was like this high-pitched squeal, and I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear a thing. I feel like I also can't hear Hus laughing right now.
That's weird. How about talking?
Is that on him or is that on us, Matty? Okay, we're good, Hus. We got you.
Okay,
God, that was the ultimate.
good.
That was the ultimate scary follow-up after my story. Like, my God, I can't hear Hus either.
Dustin Nielsen is losing his hearing.
Yeah,
hour by hour, live on Edmonton Sports Talk. Hey, it was all those. It's been all those years cranking it out in the mornings with the tunes, your goal songs, LTE. That is weird. The high pitch thing. I think people just have different thresholds of what they can hear and what they can't. You should consider yourself lucky that you weren't getting annoyed by that alarm.
Well, yeah, they're like, "Can you not hear this?" I said, "What are you guys talking about?" They're like, "Well, you can." Like, I was just like, "No, man, I cannot hear it. I cannot hear it." I mean, I can hear conversations. I can hear everybody fine. I just could not hear whatever the heck the alarm was. So I was just like, "Oh man." You know what I didn't like seeing last night was the bad beat we had on the EST parlay. 6-legger last night, paid plus 535 when I got on it. McDavid 2 points got it. Bouchard point got it. Hyman point got it. Draisaitl point got it. Nuge point got it. Minus 1.5 got it. We just needed the Oilers over 4.5 team goals. They score their fourth goal 30 seconds into the third period and don't score another one the rest of the way.
That is tough. That is tough considering everything that did happen. You would think that
would lead to 5 goals.
Well,
right?
and to be perfectly honest, dude, I mean, for next time, like if you think about this, how much did it really boost that bet to have over 4.5?
The over 4.5, yeah, that's a good point.
Like with all of those other guys needing to score or get points, however you put it in, it's almost implied, I think, by that game. It'd be an interesting question to ask Pat or the guys that do the odds on.
Like when you already have all those points that would lead to offense, how much does the 4.5 really bump it up?
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest it's not very much and probably not worth doing. Similar to putting, like a minus 400 favorite on a parlay.
Yeah,
like it doesn't boost it that much, but there's a chance that it can screw you. And that is unfortunate. I mean, man, we had our WS tier last night. Oh my God, was that a frustrating game? I mean, the Jets had a poor start for about the first 10 minutes, very similar to the Carolina game last week. Laurent Brossoit was freaking amazing. And then the Jets just seemingly flipped a switch, woke up, and took it to the Sharks for the better part of the next 45 minutes. And I mean, just absolutely dominated them. At times, like the Sharks could not get out of their own zone. The Jets were changing, but they couldn't score on Mackenzie Blackwood. And then in the third period, they give up a power play goal on a bit of a chintzy penalty to Dylan DeMello. They get their own option. They get their own opportunities a couple times. And we saw what life is like without Kyle Connor. Because they're going to need to figure something out on that power play because it just the first couple.
I see Mark talking in the power play already and being like, at least Edmonton can score on the power play. Not good last night.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, they're doing it without their real trigger man. They had kind of set it up where Ehlers was smacking. I mean, it got too predictable at the end. The Sharks did a great job, and I think they had just been selling out, blocking every shot they could. But after a very quiet first 10 minutes, the Jets had, 39 or 40 shots on net. You do that, you're going to win more often than not. They have been winning a lot, but that was a game they really wanted to have, considering they're right back at it tonight on the second end of back-to-backs against the LA Kings.
Against the Kings.
Although they do have Connor Hellebuck starting tonight, which is a little different. It's the first time I can remember the team not going with Hellebuck in the first game of the back-to-backs. But maybe I guess he wants a piece of LA, the Gabriel Velarde revenge game.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what's going on here tonight, right? The Velarde revenge game. I like that. That's got to be big. It's got to be big in the market, eh?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, people haven't even had time to start thinking about this game today because that last game finished well on the other side of midnight here with a 9:30 start.
Yeah, that's a late one.
Yeah, busy time tonight. We'll get to it. We didn't really see any audio or anything from the team after the game last night, so she'll get updated during the afternoon skate today. But one more game and then coming back on Saturday to start a big – check this 4-game homestand for the Jets going into Christmas. Saturday night, Colorado Avalanche, rematch of that big game last Thursday. And then 3 original 6 teams next week. Montreal on Monday, Detroit on Wednesday, and finishing it off with the Boston Bruins on Friday night heading into it. I mean, that's a pretty great schedule going into the a few days off for Christmas.
Do you want to stick with hockey to start today? Or should we take a look? It's a lighter schedule tonight, and then we can flip on over to a few of the other things that we wanted to take a look at.
Definitely. Let's still in last night mode. Let me fire this.
5 games tonight in the National Hockey League. I'll try to bring up some starting goalies while we have it. You already mentioned one of them, obviously, with the Winnipeg Jets in the second half of back-to-back. Pittsburgh is in Montreal. Minus 155 road favorites are the Penguins. The New Jersey Devils at home against the Bruins are favorites, minus 124. The Islanders, minus 195 at home against the Ducks. And then it's the Sabres and the Avalanche, the Avs, minus 211 on the money line tonight. As for the starting goaltenders over at Daily Faceoff, Montembeault confirmed for the Habs tonight. Nedeljkovic unconfirmed, but likely for the Penguins. Vanacek for the Devils. Bruins unconfirmed Jeremy Swayman. Varlamov is confirmed for the Islanders. John Gibson listed as unconfirmed right now. Prosvetov for Colorado is listed as likely. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Sabres unconfirmed. Hellebuck confirmed to start tonight. And Cam Talbot right now unconfirmed. I would think they go with Cam Talbot. Kings have dropped 2 in a row coming back off a road trip here. So likely be Talbot between the pipes there. So that's what we got for starting goalies. That's a look at the sked tonight. Of course, if you're listening right now and you would like to chime in, 780-218-9999. Or, of course, hit us up in the nasty chat as well if there's anything that you really like that pops off the page in the National Hockey League tonight. Huss, what's your initial thoughts on this board?
My first official thought is this line looks weird in this Boston.
That's a fishy one, right? That's a fishy one. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
On the line, like the Bruins have won 4 of their last 5. They lost 3-1 to the Buffalo Sabres, but beat Arizona before that. Columbus, Leafs, and Sharks. I guess had that 3-game losing streak before, but then it just been the standard at the beginning of the season. And New Jersey, and again, buy this into it as much as you want. This is the old dreaded first game back at home after a long road trip with a lot of travel. They won the first 3 and then ended up on the wrong end of the 4-1 score against the Oilers, but the Oilers have been beating everybody for the last few weeks. So Jersey's gotten it back together somewhat. They're 3 games above 500. This is a big win, but man, Boston has been so good. Is McAvoy back?
I'm trying to bring up their line combinations right now to see what's going on here. Nothing on McAvoy as of this afternoon. So
yeah, they're not listing him right now, so he's probably out for another game or 2. It's pretty wild, man, when you look. Morgan Geekie centering the line 1 with Jake DeBrusk and David Pasternak. Like, just for a moment, we need to appreciate how the hell Boston has done this again. Like, they literally just rolled into this season, lost arguably one of the greatest players in their team's history, going straight to the Hall of Fame, their other top 6 center, and they really, for the most part, haven't missed a beat yet this year.
Well, Pasternak's having a ridiculous year again. I mean, that obviously helps, right? You took and put the C on a guy that very much carries the culture of the Boston Bruins anyway, right? So, I think they've done a good job, having these other pieces in place ready to go when they lose some of these significant pieces. I am still surprised that they are good as they have been, though, so far this year, but I'm also surprised that they're a dog tonight against the Devils. Now, you're right, like the Devils had 1-3 on that road trip before losing to the Oilers, and the Oilers have been absolutely lights out lately, so I don't know how much we want to read into that as well. Getting Bruins plus money at any time just seems kind of too good to be true. Duck Dad says Boston Globe does have McAvoy out for tonight. Rod says, and I was looking at this myself, Rod, Boston has swept the Devils in the past 2 seasons. Boston money line. Yeah, if you go back and you just look at their head-to-head, the Boston Bruins have won the last 6 games between these two clubs. They have not yet played this year, but they swept them in 2021, 2022, and they swept them last year, 2022, 2023. So, I don't know. There seems really good value here on the Bruins unless we're missing something.
It does seem that way. It does seem that way. Although, we always think about these and go, remember it just seemed too good to be true?
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
It still doesn't make me want to get on the Devils, though, at minus 124 the other way,
No. But, man, yeah. Well, listen, no, I think based on all of that, that was our initial thought. I think Boston would I think we should put that near the top of the list. Pittsburgh at the Canadiens, and the Penguins are minus 155, which seems like a pretty reasonable number on Pittsburgh in Montreal. They finally got a win, 4-2 at home against the Coyotes. Because they'd had a real rough go. They lost 4 in a row, I guess back-to-back games, I believe in overtime or shootouts to the Flyers. But then 3-1 losses to Tampa and Florida on the road. They come back for a win and then right back out to it. But, man, the Penguins are just right there at 12-12-3. And you know what? That gets you 82 points and probably picking about 8th or 9th in the draft. Like this team, put it this way, if they're going to be in the playoff race, they got to win games like this tonight. I don't know. I believe in Crosby and the Penguins, I think, to get this one done right now. I'm not particularly high on Montreal, but they have won a lot more games this year than I frankly expected or gave them credit for. They've won 2 of their last 6, lost to the Predators 2-1, beat the Sabres 3-2. Lost 4-0 to Kings, beat the Kraken, lost to the Red Wings, lost to the Panthers. They've been losing to a lot of teams that are better than them right now. I think I like Pittsburgh in this game.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh too. We do have a question here that says, guys, what do you think about this? Where is it? Who is it? Big Maple. Why does Buffalo money line seem way too juicy to pass up tonight? That's plus 175 on the road in Colorado against the Avs tonight. Let's see here.
I mean, listen, it's Buffalo at Colorado. They're going to be a big underdog. Now they did.
Colorado is 2-5 in their last 7. Well, 2-3-2 technically, but they've only won 2 of their last 7. And it was 2 nights ago against Calgary, 6-5, and then they beat Anaheim 3-2. You know Colorado. You saw them recently, right? Against Winnipeg.
Yeah, I mean that game against the Jets on Thursday night was unreal. They got Cale Makar back. That was probably the signature win of the Jets season, to be honest with you. And listen, Colorado fell out of first place. Now they're back in first place because they won and the Jets lost. But I think the way that they rallied against Calgary in that third period 2 nights ago puts them in a pretty good spot going into this one. I mean, I guess you could call this maybe a trap game for the Avs. But, man, I mean, these two teams are in very, very different area codes when it comes to just their rosters, their talent, coaching, experience. I love Buffalo, and I'm always here. I would love Big Maple's hint to be right. It'd be tough for me to bet Buffalo, though. Although maybe a little sprinkle, whatever. I certainly wouldn't be putting it on any parlays.
And then the Islanders and Ducks. I mean, we haven't got to that one, and we can dive in. We'll get into the Jets and Kings here a little bit more, obviously, with the lock shop being based in Winnipeg and Edmonton. But any sort of thoughts on the Islanders minus 195 at home here against the Ducks tonight?
Well, I mean, I think the Islanders win this game. I think the question is whether you've got enough confidence in them to lay the puck line. Like, they had that big win. They gave up a goal in the last 10 seconds, and the Leafs got them to OT, and then they won in OT. But they've been good, and they've been beating good teams. I mean, Dusty, they won 5 of their last 6. The only loss was to the San Jose Sharks, who stormed back with 3 in the third period and 1 in OT. But they beat the Leafs in their last game out. They beat the Los Angeles Kings.
They beat the Kings before that.
The Kings' first loss on the road. They beat the Blue Jackets handily, 7-3. And I think this is sort of a nice comparison to Anaheim. Lost to the Sharks, and before that, on the road, beat the Panthers and beat the Hurricanes. Like, the Islanders quietly have been really good. And, right now we're tied for second in the Metropolitan Division. So I kind of think they keep rolling. What's the puck line in this game? Plus 133 on minus 1.5. I don't mind that at all. Oh, and by the way, Anaheim.
Well, Anaheim has lost 9 of 10. The only win they had was that Saturday night. I needed them to lose to Colorado, and they were down 3-1 and came back and won and ruined my parlay. It's the only time they've won in the last 3.5 weeks is when they screwed me over 2 Saturdays ago.
That is nice. Yeah, they're 1-11 in their last 12. I'm sure there's been a couple overtime losses in there. And I mean, really this year, so look at this schedule. They opened up the season. They lost to Vegas. They beat Carolina and then lost 3 in a row. So they were 1-4. Yeah, they were 1-4. Then out of the blue, they go on a road trip and sweep it. Columbus, Boston, Philly, Pittsburgh. Come back and beat Arizona and Vegas. So at that point, they'd won 6 games in a row and were 7-4. Lose 2 at home to Philly and Pitt, 7-6. Win 2 against Nashville and San Jose. And so on November 14th, they were 9-6. They're now 10-17. And they haven't even been getting to overtime. The only time they've got to overtime in this period was that shootout win over the Colorado Avalanche that you just brought up. Like, they're, put it this way, the Sharks are way better than the Ducks right now, and way, way more of a dangerous team. So no confidence in the Ducks whatsoever. Islanders are rolling.
We got Rod in the nasty chat just dropping trends on us, which I like to see. Rod Z says, is Rod a Winnipeg guy?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Rod, are you a Winnipeg guy? Edmonton a guy somewhere else? Anyway, Rod says the Islanders have failed to cover the puck line in 4 straight as the favorite following win. He says Ducks are pass. I do like the Islanders in regulation because you can get it at minus 119. So yeah, I like the Islanders in reg, which is what Mark said. Maybe I'll go with the Islanders in regulation. I'm already on that one tonight. In fact, I actually really like that one right now. You made a really good point on the Islanders, man. Like, they've kind of come back to relevance here in a significant way as of late. So, minus 119 if you like them in regulation tonight, down from the minus 193 if they just were minus 195 on the money line right now. Duck Dad, I like this. Pens, Bruins, Islanders, Avs, and Kings all plus 2.5. Minus 115. Hit the favorites, and if they lose, they have to get blown out for the ticket to bust. You always worry. You always worry that it kind of comes back to bite you on that one. Okay, and then what about this? What about this Velarde revenge game here, Hus? I mean, as far as making a play on it, it doesn't matter. We usually don't try to hit these straight up. But I mean, what do you expect from the Jets tonight here after that loss last night?
The Jets have been good, and I think Rob just dropped in a Jet stat there of the 5-0 as a dog in the second leg of back-to-backs, which is interesting. And this is the first time dating back. Oh, I was talking with Ken Weeb from the Free Press, texting with him. I was trying to think of the last time they played the backup first in back-to-backs and went with Hellebuck in the second game. And I'm not sure it's ever happened before. So normally these back-to-backs, the team's going with the backup. That's not the case tonight. They're going to be throwing Connor Hellebuck out there. Here's the thing with the with this game tonight, though. I mean, playing on back-to-back, although, not a ton of travel, San Jose to LA.
Yeah, not much
bad.
there.
Against a rested team in the Kings. Hellebuck will play, so that's a positive. He's been awesome. And listen, we all know that he's capable of winning a game on his own. But, man, you got to score some goals if you're going to beat the Kings. And after watching that game last night, the issues that they had with the power play, obviously there's no time to practice in between. They played really well. They owned the puck. They generated a ton, but weren't able to score. I guess on the one side you could say, well, if they do that again, they should score more goals tonight. But at the same time, they're going up against a Kings team that probably gave them their most difficult 60 minutes of the entire season in the third game of the season. And that was the game that Velarde got hurt in. It is an interesting narrative with Velarde if you want to look at, kind of guys getting back against their old team. He was also taken out by one of his former teammates, Blake Lizotte, and that's what cost Velarde 6 weeks at the start of the year. He did just score his first goal of the season 2 games ago. Again, he missed 6 weeks, but came back and I think didn't score in the first 6 or so. So as far as for player goals, if you do want to run down narrative street, Gabriel Velarde plus 290, and he is back on the top line, playing with Mark Scheifele and playing with Nikolai Ehlers. All of those guys, particularly Ehlers in our WST parlay, could have had a goal last night. They had so many chances. I'm just not sure those are as bountiful against the Kings tonight. But listen, it's a tough spot for Winnipeg. They're plus 155 on the money line against a really good Kings team. But considering what happened last night, I think they will definitely leave it all out on the ice tonight, knowing that they've got 2 more days off before starting that homestand against Colorado. But it's going to be hard not to put a little piece on Velarde at plus 290 to score against his old team.
Nielsen Hus with you here on The Lock Shop. If you are listening on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, feel free to chime in on anything we're discussing, 780-218-9999, or you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Rod says he's in Jets, Montreal, and Boston on a little 3-teamer for him tonight.
Ooh, the Habs. Rob's running with the Habs tonight.
He's running with the Habs. He had a little trend on the Habs up in the chat a little bit earlier. Montreal swept the season series last year versus Pittsburgh, 4-1 in their last 5 versus the Penguins. So he does like Pittsburgh on the money line. Pittsburgh had a hard time scoring goals and then managed to get it done, last night. So we'll see if that continues here or not. It's probably a stay away spot for me right now.
I know that I know that those stats are there. I'm going with Pitt though. They are a team. It's not like Montreal's going to own them forever. Montreal isn't that good. They haven't been playing well. They've been losing to all the teams that are better than them. I still think Pittsburgh is better than them. And the Penguins, they got to put some wins together before we get into 2024, Dusty. Lost tonight, they'd be under 500 right now. We know how competitive that East is. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit, leaning on those big names that have been there for a long time. I just think they've got another level that maybe comes out tonight. But I do appreciate Rod filling us in on the fact that they have not had a lot of success over the last couple seasons against Pittsburgh or against Montreal.
Coach Mike in the inbox says the Penguins snapped the 0-for-37 streak on the power play last night, which was quite something. The fact that power play doesn't absolutely light it up kind of blows my mind a little bit. This text is in. I had somebody reach out about this yesterday too, Hus. So might as well just hit on. We like to do a little bit of a reset here once in a while, especially when maybe a little bit of a slower day. It says, hey, Dusty and Hus, what does minus 124 even mean? Hush, you want to lay this out for some of the noobs? Because we had, I had somebody else text in last night being like, yeah, I bet on a game for the first time. And somebody yesterday in Lock Shop, we had a jam-packed show yesterday, but they're like, can you please explain plus 100 and minus 100 to me? So, for many of you who aren't familiar with the Lock Shop, since we've kind of launched onto Edmonton Sports Talk, and now you're hopping on board just because it's really good sports talk between two good friends. But yeah, Hush, lay it out for him one more time here.
Okay, so let's use the example of tonight's Boston-New Jersey game. And this was the line that we said, it seems sort of weird. So the money line, which again is a team to win. If you make a money line bet, your team can win in regulation. It can win in overtime. It can win in a shootout. It doesn't matter as long as your team ends up getting the 2 points. It's a winning bet. So the odds tonight for the New Jersey Devils, who are at home, are minus 124. And the Bruins are plus 106. The minus indicates that they are the favorite. Although I guess technically it could be. But here, the bottom line is minus 124 means that you would need to wager $124 to win 100. So if you wanted to bet the Devils and you made a $124 wager on New Jersey to win, and they won in any fashion, that would return $100 on your bet. So you would get $224 back. The plus on the Bruins indicates a $100 bet on the Bruins would get you plus 106 coming back. So returning 206. So essentially the plus number always indicates it's more than even money. If something was plus 100, you bet 100, you win 100, you return 200. So plus money, you're always getting something in excess of what your bet is, like more than 2-1, or more than even money, I should say. And the minus is the difference between what would be even money and what you have to pay to get that. I mean, just to give you a few other examples from tonight. Like the Avalanche are the biggest favorite tonight. They're minus 211. That would mean you'd have to bet $211 to win 100 and return 311. And conversely, the Ducks are a big underdog in New York against the Islanders, plus 163. So if you bet $100 on the Ducks, it would return 263. And again, on smaller wagers, it's just the percentage. Like, for instance, if I bet $50 on the Ducks at plus 163, I'd win 81.50 off that, and it would return 131.50. So you can also change the decimal odds, which for some people are a little easier. That's what you remembered with the provincial sports lotteries. I just really like the minus and the plus. Gives you a pretty clear idea who the favorites are, how big the numbers are. And of course, you can always just put in the number in CoolBet, and it'll tell you before you make your bet what you're winning.
I like this. First of all, great layman's terms description there, Huss. Jake from CoolBet's in and says minus 124 carries a 55.36% implied win probability too, if you want to get really nerdy with it. All right, so that's diving further into the numbers.
We hear that all the time, but Jake, let us know. Like, I don't know if there's just a simple calculator.
What's the correlation? Like, how do you get there? Yeah.
Just kind of giving us the idea, like a 60% implied probability.
It would nice to know when we see like a minus 150, right? What's the probability percentage being implied for them to win when it's minus 150? Jake, can you pass it along to us? Let's try to get to that one. I do like when people just sort of slide in with plays. Timmy Two Shoe is in. It says, taking a shot with San Francisco minus 9.5 NCAA basketball tonight. I've looked it up. San Francisco minus 9.5 against Seattle on the NCAA hoop scene tonight. If you want to ride with some obscure college basketball.
I have never heard of San Francisco or Seattle.
I know.
When it comes to college football. Are we sure this isn't some new league?
This is basketball, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, where do they play out of? That's interesting. Jake says win probability calculator. Is that just he says he uses odds jam, for example. All right. So, Jake, I thought you knew like the formula, like the recipe here. You know what we need?
Well, no, you just put it in. Like, it's so easy. There'll just be something. But yeah, if you just Google win probability calculator, you can have some fun checking out the odds.
What I want to do is I want to make like the chart that has it all printed off, and then just have it on the wall here in the lock shop and be like, oh, minus 175. Yes, okay, that's a 62% win percentage probability. You know, like that'd be kind of fun. See myself doing that at some point. Oh,
so what do you are you like? What do you think about Pittsburgh tonight? Has Rod's trends and stats scared you off of the Penguins? You still like the Boston? And for the Islanders, I
like the I am a bit scared of the puck line, but I really love the Islanders in regulation tonight. And then, like, you think we should ride with the Islanders and the Bruins here?
Yeah, I do.
And then you just want to make it a 2-gamer because it's a quiet night? Because it's going to be plus 106 and minus 119. And what does that equal out to? Plus 279. We get boosted up over 3. Rod seems hesitant on the Penguins. I liked your case for the Penguins. Or are we just okay with a little 2-gamer tonight, Hus? Or is there a total that you like? Or do you just want to roll with the Pens?
I mean, I like the puck line for the Islanders.
You do, hey?
If we're doing a 2-gamer.
So you want Bruins and then the puck line for the Islanders?
Yeah, and I mean, that's plus 380.
So we get over 4-1.
If you wanted to squeeze a little in there. I mean, we could always just bang that out ourselves.
During this loss, during like the losing stretch here, they lost by 2, lost by 1, lost by 1. They won. They lost by 1. They lost by 2. They lost by 6. They lost by 3. They lost by 1. And they lost by 2. So puck line would have been covered in about, 4 did I say? 4 of those games maybe? Look, I really do like the Islanders tonight. So if you think that's the way to go on a 2-gamer, I'll ride with you. I'll ride with you on that one. And it bumps it up significantly. So,
yeah, I mean, plus 133 on this, and then if we tie that in with Boston, I guess if we wanted to, I mean, what would it do if we put the Avs? Avs money line at minus 211 takes that from plus 380 to plus 607 too.
Geez, that's a huge bump.
It is. I mean, as I said earlier, like these big favorites, I usually don't put them on. But I think that with Colorado, the way they won the game last week, knowing what's to come, big game against Winnipeg, the loss last week, and Buffalo has just been so up and down.
They've been very inconsistent, yeah.
Like, have they had a couple big wins? Yeah, they have. But they've lost far more their fair share. I mean, beat the Coyotes and they had that big win in Boston. But other than that, they got losses to the Habs, Wings, Predators, Hurricanes, Blues, Devils, all in their last 10. So I think the Avalanche win this game. And again, we're talking about money line. It could be, say it's tied. Who are you going to ride with in OT? McKinnon and Makar or whoever Buffalo's thrown over the boards?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Chris is making the point that Prosvetov is starting for Colorado. We did mention that a little bit earlier. And then there's some hesitation on the Bruins here because Zaka and McAvoy are out. And who's the other? There's one other guy that's who else is out tonight in Boston? So there's some injury concerns there. McAvoy's been out for a while though, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I just pulled up Boston, and I mean, here are their centers tonight: Morgan Geekie, Charlie Coyle, Matthew Poitras, and John Beecher.
So are we worried about that? It's not a great group down the middle.
No, it's not. But they do just keep on winning. Well, okay. The thing is, we don't have a good feeling on Pittsburgh or Montreal. Although I, for the record, do like Pittsburgh, even though the trend has not gone away. Avs, And I mean, that Jets game is tough to throw on.
Rod is just all over the Jets tonight. He loves the Jets tonight. I don't necessarily love the Jets tonight. I was on the Kings in regulation on the morning show today, so that's a little bit of a different look on that one.
Kings, wow, I don't mind. Do we want to ride with Rod Z and throw the Jets in?
Do you want to? I mean, he's been all over it today.
We could take out Boston. We do go the Islander puck line, Colorado money line, Jets money line plus 776. It's a bit of a bigger swing.
It is, but if the Jets don't hit, it's on Rod. It's not on us.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it. Yeah, I will. I won't feel as guilty because I haven't brought this one to the party. I'll have to own the Islanders puck line if it doesn't happen.
All right, then let's do it. Then let's do it.
Hellebuck has been. I mean, I will say this: Hellebuck has been. I mean, vintage Helly for the last little while, and Rod does make a good point about the Kings. They've been playing very, very well for a long time. Back didn't look great at the start of the road trip. There'll be money on the board in that Jet room for Velarde as well. So I love that Rod sort of got me right into the.
We're doing it. We're putting the Jets on the parlay. All right. So Jets plus 155.
Yeah.
Colorado minus 211. Islanders on the puck line tonight at plus 133. That's plus 776.
Yeah, that'll be more than 8-1. Like it's a bit of a bigger swing. Usually we're in the 400 to 500 somewhere, but hey, it's a quieter night. Maybe it's a smaller bet, but a bigger return for a lock shot.
Let me throw one more by you here, because we've added in the Jets here on the number. If we just took the Islanders in regulation, it's plus 592, which is going to get bumped up to over 6-1. If the Islanders win a close one, and the Islanders win close ones,
you know what? Okay, I'm fine with that.
You okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
Played a little bit safer there.
I still think
you still like the puck line. Okay, yeah. Okay.
I do.
Okay. So,
but yeah, we can definitely go to
let's do that.
Regulation.
Okay, so let's go Islanders in reg minus 119, Jets money line plus 155, Avs money line minus 211, plus 592. Final answer. Lock it in. Lock it in. By the way, Rod, if the Jets lose, it's on you tomorrow here on the Lock Shop. Jake, lock that one in. Avs money line, Jets money line, Islanders in regulation. We spent 40 minutes talking about 5 games in the National Hockey League tonight.
Hey, you know what? This is a process. We're bringing everybody together. We're talking about the games. Some people will make their decisions to bet elsewhere, but Rod brought some tremendous information today.
Yeah, I did.
And we've incorporated that.
Love those trends.
A bit of a tag team. So this is the partner parlay with Rod Z being a partner.
Yeah. He's the third partner today.
Let's get it. Well, I know the guys will have this up in the next little bit, and we'll do it. Hey, Patty did mention to us tomorrow is this PNC championship in golf. This is the family event. The father-son. You got the Strickers, Thomas, Daly, Woods.
Saw Charlie was banged up today. Did you see this?
BJ Singh. I have not been.
Saw a video today of Charlie swinging and kind of looked like his dad recently. Like he had to kind of let the club go, and he looked a little banged up. Just a heads up. Just passing along Charlie Woods injury info on the Lock Shop today.
I got a feeling that it'll be one of those top teams. John Daly with his partner Little John, who is at Arkansas right now and playing at a pretty high level on the NCAA A team. Not sure who Stricker's partner is, but they are the starters of it. I'd love to say that I really went deep on PNC championship research, but it is tough to find out even who the names are playing with and where they're at. So we'll go for some head-to-heads. There's the winner. And hey, if you just want to have some fun and ride with Tiger and Charlie, they are at plus 550. Have you added anything to the to the board yet for the upcoming NFL?
No, I was
NFL,
I was going to
week?
actually just ask you, like, the line right now in this Chargers-Raiders game sits at 3. Raiders 3-point favorites at home in what should be a real banger of a game here between the Chargers and Raiders. One team coming off a 3-0 shutout loss. Chargers winning a game 6-0 2 weeks ago. Do you think there's any movement on this game, or is this just locked in at 3, do you think? Or do you think this moves one way or the other? Like, the total's 34. Not expecting much of a game here in this Thursday night. Or do you have, and we'll dive into it tomorrow with obviously official Thursday night pick and try to build a parlay out of that dog's breakfast of the Chargers and Raiders. But what do you think?
That is going to be impossible. No Herbert.
Eckler's
No
been a
Jimmy
fantasy
G.
dud.
I don't even know. I'm in fantasy playoffs. I don't even think I can start Keenan Allen. Like, with no Herbert?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough look, right?
Think about the last 2 weeks for these teams.
Who would you start instead of Keenan Allen? I'm curious. Do you know who else you have on that team?
Tyler Lockett.
That would be your choice?
Tyler Lockett was Chris Godwin as well. I mean, both of those guys have sort of been in and out.
Yeah, they've been in and out guys this year. Yeah, I would say that.
But like, think about this. The Chargers got shut out last week. The week before, they scored 6 points in a 6-0 game. And the Raiders lost 3-0 at home last week. Like, this under of 30, like 34.5, I would expect the under to get plenty of business as we get closer to tomorrow night.
Well, it's funny because as Mark mentions in, he goes, the last 2 primetime undies we took ended up going way over.
I know. With this, I mean, this is sort of in a whole another category. I mean, both of these teams don't have their quarterbacks and have literally done nothing offensively for the last little while. And this Antonio Pierce, I mean, their defense is actually getting better and really playing their asses off for this guy. I have no idea what we're going to get from Brandon Staley's team. But we'll figure something out for tomorrow. I actually just want to fast forward past Thursday and get right to Saturday.
It's Saturday, yeah. And I was just looking at this because I know there's been movement on that Lions-Broncos line because Lions opened a couple days ago, I'm pretty sure, at 5-point favorites. Now they're 4-point favorites, so that's come down there a bit. Steelers-Colts, when we chatted yesterday, these are the 3 Saturday games. Steelers-Colts, when we chatted yesterday, I do believe it was the Colts minus 2.5-point favorites. And then the Bengals and Vikings, I can't remember if that number was at 3.5 or if it was at 3, but it is at 3 right now.
Yeah, I am so interested as to what we get from the Minnesota Vikings. Dobbs is out as the starter, eh? Nick Mullins time for Minnesota.
Awesome.
Jake Browning, though. Jake Browning's looked unreal in these last couple of games. I mean, I think Cincinnati's going to get the bulk of that. And you can see right now it's 3 at minus 115. I would be surprised if it didn't get to 3.5 or more by the time game time. So if you do want to keep it at 3, jump on it now. And man, wouldn't this be typical of the Steelers to lose at home to the Cardinals, lose at home to the Patriots, somehow maintain their playoff spot, and then beat the Colts as underdogs in a head-to-head game going into this weekend, even with Minshew and how well he's played as of late.
D is in the chat. Says, okay, guys, who again are we blaming if Winnipeg loses? Rod Z. That's who we will be blaming if they end up.
He was bringing tremendous information, though.
Tons of great. Yeah.
5-0 in the second net of back-to-backs. Hellebuck's in the net. Gabriel Velarde revenge narrative. Plus 290 for a goal if you want to go that way.
Jake says, Rod Zed, formal apology in the chat if the Jets lose.
Yeah.
We are just here. For the Rod Z apology.
Hey, let's focus on the positive here, folks. Rod Z victory lap tomorrow in the lock shop and the Jets win. How about that?
That'd be a little bit of a standing ovation from the boys, that's for sure. By the way, the lock shop partner parlay is up right now. Quick turnaround from our partners at CoolBet. If you click on exclusives, Islanders to win in regulation, Colorado to win, Winnipeg to win, plus 675. So we got the boost from below 6-1 all the way up to plus 675, which is awesome because we were looking at that other one that was just over 7, and we moved it from puck line down to regulation and got it almost back up to 7 anyway.
Yeah,
So.
that is outstanding. That is outstanding. Jake, thanks to Evdog and the fellas for getting that up so quickly. The only one other thing, we should mention just before I got to run, this, like with the game starting on Thursday, this is your time to get in on NFL futures right now. And there's a lot up. I mean, I still think the most interesting bet available is the NFC South division winner, which is just about a dead heat between the Saints, the Falcons, and the Bucks. Saints plus 185, Falcons plus 170, Tampa plus 180. I just have a feeling that Baker Mayfield's going to do it and Tampa's going to get a home playoff game. But that is just me. We also got the conference winners on both sides. As we mentioned yesterday, Niners plus 125 to win the NFC. Dallas now the number 2 team on the board, just ahead of Philly. And the Ravens plus 225 in the AFC, followed by the Chiefs at 3. I did make an investment in the Chiefs yesterday. I put my money where my mouth was. I said they were going to run it and, win the AFC. So I'm in on it now. And the Dolphins plus 375. Just quickly before I got to run. The Miami Dolphins, Dusty.
Yeah.
What are we going to see from the Dolphins this weekend? Who do they have here? Where is Miami? Are they off the board? Oh, no. They've got the Jets at home. Jets coming off a win.
What's the number?
Plus 8.5.
Well, you did know Zach Wilson and Tommy DeVito, AFC, NFC Players of the Week. Is that what I saw?
Zach Wilson got Player of the Week?
I think, unless it was from a fake Schefter account, but I'm pretty sure I saw that today.
Tommy DeVito got it with 158 passing
let
yards.
me double check on this. I'm pretty sure it was a Schefter. Unless I got duped, but let me see here. I'll try to find it. What's coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk, Hus?
Me manifesting a win for your Jags against the Ravens on Sunday. That's what's coming
Man,
up.
that would be huge for you, eh?
Dude, that would be massive because they've got the Niners coming up the next week, and then they've got that game with Miami at the end. So there's a few things that need to happen for the Chiefs.
Oh, Matty Awanik's in the corner yelling, "Let's go Ravens!" right now.
Yeah, well, the Ravens. I mean, that's fine because we all know what happens in the playoffs with the Ravens. So I'm at the teams that scare me the most from a Chiefs perspective in the AFC are the Bills, and they're 11th. We don't even know whether they're going to get in. They got the Cowboys, but honestly, I would rather play the Bills less than I think Miami. I mean, listen, the Ravens are good. That's AFC championship game material for sure. And the crazy thing is that Cleveland with that defense, if Joe Flacco cannot turn the ball over and just kind of do his thing and not turn it over, that is going to be a really tough team. But other than that,
I mean, I think you need to remember about just hanging on to the division first with Denver creeping up, right? So,
but as I said, it doesn't matter. The Chiefs are winning all 4 of their remaining games.
Yeah. Well, they have to now. If the Chiefs lose a game down the stretch, that's going to be a tough one.
Not an issue whatsoever. The redemption tour begins this week in New England. Then it's the Raiders, then it's the Bengals, and then the Chargers in the final week of the season. And then we find out who we get to the point where champions are made, and we know how that's going. So my confidence is right back at high levels, both for the Chiefs and for the Jets, thanks to Rod Z and all the tremendous information he was dropping in the chat today. So fun day in the lock shop, but get to those NFL futures if you want to get on anything before they're off the board when kickoff gets going tomorrow between the Raiders and the Chargers.
All right, that is going to do it for the lock shop. Hey, on the exclusives page, make sure you go check out the NHL exclusives. Just click on CoolBet exclusives. They got 5 or 6 exclusives in there that you can hop on tonight as well. Hus, you have a good show today, man?
You got it, buddy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We got the oil stream coming up here in about 5 minutes on Edmonton Sports Talk. Let's dive into the Fantasy Football 5 here. All right, what's going on, everybody? Playoff time in fantasy football. A fun lock shop today. The Fantasy Football 5 is brought to you by Century Casino, the sports bar and lounge out on Fort Road, where Lieutenant Eric and his merry men have been setting up shop every Monday and Thursday night for the entire National Hockey League season. Tomorrow night, he'll have the Thursday nighter, and they'll have a little Oilers action as well. So you can make some plans to go hit him up for the great deal on the brisket. Everybody loves the brisket. You can go get your hands on that at Century Casino. If you do have any fantasy questions, now is the time. We got about 5 minutes, probably not much more. So hit us up, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat as well, where Duck Dad says, Auburn, San Fran, and FAU all to cover plus 568. I have no idea what I'm doing, but in the nasty chat, I trust. Yeah, we were betting college basketball teams you've basically never heard of earlier on the lock shop today, to which Jack Cookson from Pro-Am texts me and says, USF Dons versus Seattle. Finally, the lock shop talking college hoops. I love it. I didn't even know that there was a University of Seattle or San Francisco, for that matter. If they don't have elite level college football teams, we usually don't care about you. The Da-A is saying, you guys hear about Touchdown Pacific next year? Yeah, man. We heard about Touchdown Pacific. There's a chance I might be calling Touchdown Pacific. So we heard about it. It should be pretty good, I think. So thanks for passing that info along, just in case we missed it. Mark says, pick one wide receiver to bench. Brown, St. Brown, Allen, or Pittman. Man, Pittman, now let's bring up a little Pittman game log here. It's nothing like a good game log search on the Fantasy Football 5. Pittman's game log. Yeah, okay, I'll bring up this one. Let's see. Man, holy smokes. Pittman is a target hog right now. Well, you have to play this guy. Pittman, in his last 4 games, has been targeted 11 times, 16 times, 13 times, 12 times. Does Gardner Minshew know that there are other people to pass the ball to? This is incredible. In those games, 8 catches, 11 catches, 10 catches, 8 catches. Heck, I mean, if you go back his last 7 games, he's got at least 8 catches. You go back his last 8 games. He's had at least 8 catches in 7 of them. My goodness. You gotta roll with Pittman, man. I mean, if he's going to get targeted that much, he's going double digits, 12, 13, 14 targets. You have to start him. I like St. Brown, and the other Brown I would assume is A.J. Brown and not Marquise Brown. So I guess you're sitting a quarterbackless Keenan Allen. I just worry about whatever happens at the quarterback position. The guy, you come in, you take over, and you go, okay, what do I do here offensively? Oh, I know. I'll just throw it to Keenan Allen a bunch of times. So, yeah, I'd probably go both Browns and Pittman, I guess. Jake, Goddard, or Likely? Oh, that's a tough one as well. Hey, here's the thing. Even though we get tough questions right now, you're in the playoffs, right? That's all that matters. You got to be pretty happy with that, setting up playoff matchups. I got a couple difficult matchups myself, actually, that I need to dive into here over the next 24 hours or so. Let's take a look here at Goddard. Came back, 4 catches, 4 targets, 30 yards. Not much there. Seattle, not a horrible matchup. Likely's been interesting. He obviously finds himself in a pretty darn good spot in an offense that's usually so heavily relied upon by their tight end. 7 targets, 5 catches, touchdown. I think that was his first of the year, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. 6 targets. You know, I think I'd probably go Isaiah Likely, to be honest with you, Jake. Let's do that one. G is in. G, we'll save yours. Okay, we'll save yours because we'll get to that in the oil stream. So just stick around. Surveyor Brett says, what the hell is Touchdown Pacific? Surveyor Brett, get the hell out of here, man. That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me. How do you not know what Touchdown Pacific is? You're trolling. Get your troll ass out of the Fantasy Football 5. We got oil stream coming up. That's where you can troll. Troll in the oil stream. That's on the way. Myself and Tommy Gazzola with you coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Make sure you stick around for that. The Edmonton Oilers have won 8 in a row. But would it be more if Connor Brown could score? We'll get into that a little bit today on the oil stream. Make sure you stick around for that. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. You can always slide in my DMs with fantasy football questions as well on Twitter at an account that is still called Nielsen TSN 1260. So you can find me over there. Oil stream coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Don't go anywhere.